Howdy, my name is Eric McGonigal, and I am one of the project members on the Schedule team that built an event scheduler web application for Southwest Innovation Research Labs, or otherwise known as SwIRL. And detailed on the screen are the other 6 members of the team who helped with the development of the application. So quickly, we'll dive into the problem. And the main concern here was efficiently managing and organizing the creation and hosting of various events, as well as being able to track and handle all this information as detailed on the page with 4 different tables that are very crucial in maintaining the information, such as the general information, detailed information for both events and attendees. And this just allowed the team to really work in the background on various features that were added to the project to add some value. As far as the client requirement is concerned, one of the main things here was to ensure that the app catered towards a wide range of audience, mainly being those, using the application on their mobile device may not have as much access to CSV files. So the addition in this case of Excel and or manually entering, typing in emails adds to that experience. And the main thing here is to just automate and make sure this application is very straightforward to use for users, both who are creating and hosting events as well as simply attending and want to view status on the page. As far as the technology is concerned, in order to kind of maintain that model view controller structure of the project, Ruby on Rails definitely helped the team in seeing that through. In addition to CSS and JavaScript being able to help with the front end, both with like the looks as well as the automated functions when the app is up and running. And one example of a feature is Google Calendar, and Signet was very, very useful in ensuring that this was implemented very smoothly. This was a test-driven development project, so the team did a lot of testing throughout the entirety of the development and was a very big aspect of ensuring that any feature and value that was added to the project had a ton of testing involved, just as a precaution to ensure that there are no edge cases as ways to, crash the app. And then, as always, Heroku did a very, very great job in making sure the deployment in a live environment for the team was done very smoothly because it's a completely different ballgame in a live deployed app versus just done locally on a device. So here's the kind of the steps involved to create an event, which I'll detail in a second with pictures. But essentially, a host wants to create an event. You can do a singular or a series event that will repeat. Um, Once you fill out some more filters for that event, you can actually add a CSV or Excel file with a list of emails for people to attend. And as mentioned earlier, if you want to do that manually and just type it in if you don't have a CSV or Excel sheet on hand. Once the event is created, then the emails will be automatically sent to all those that have been specified. And then from that point, it's pretty much just up to the users who have been invited to either accept or decline the event. And there's some further steps for those who have accepted, like adding the calendar to or adding the event to their Google Calendar, and even attending the event as a whole. And meanwhile, the host gets to kind of just sit back and can be very hands off until the actual event and can just maintain and view all the specific information on the page itself. So here we could kind of see it in play visually. This is the login page, and you can obviously log in or create an account for those who have not have an account already. And here's just the home page where the users will be directed to after they log in, and you can obviously see you can create single or series events as well as go to the event dashboard and view information about events that you have both created and have been invited to. And in this case, we're creating a single event, so this is what the page will look like for creating single events, and there's plenty of options to detail information such as the start and end time, the actual date of the event, as well as when a reminder timer will be sent to those who have not yet responded in a given window of time, as well as give a confirmation email to those who have responded yes. And then obviously you could see the Excel and CSV file upload option, as well as the text box to enter a list of emails in a comma separated format. Here's what the email actually looks like when you view it from your inbox. You could see the yes or no RSVP option, as well as your according response on the actual website. And this is where you can add the Google Calendar. So after you accept the event, it'll redirect you to the event on another page, and you can actually add it to your Google Calendar. And then last but not least, actually attending the event, which is totally up to the host whether they want to create it as a virtual or an in-person event. Some key features that were um, a large aspect of this project, and one of the main things was efficient data handling, dealing with a lot of specifics to events as well as attributes for those attending the event. And as mentioned towards the beginning of this presentation, those four tables were very crucial in seeing this through. Another big aspect of this project was the automated communication. The ability to do this definitely addresses the weeds at the roots by being able to address the concern of having to manually go through and send all the emails. All of that will no longer have to be a large concern since this is automated and done just simply through the creation. Once everything is done and created, it's a very hands-off process after that, as mentioned earlier. Some new features that were added as since this was a legacy project. A lot of it is detailed on the left side, and just to name a few, that login and sign up feature allows people to view events that are more specific to them, as well as some UI changes to improve the look of the website, adding some dynamic features rather than keeping it a little bit more static. And obviously, the Excel file input was a very large aspect to improve the wide range that this application caters to. And then as far as any other additions that could be added on, the admin page was something that our team slightly touched up on, but wasn't something too large of a concern that was brought to our attention by the client. And this is definitely something that could be fully implemented with another group, in addition to Zoom or Google Meet, given that we have kind of opened the door initially for with the Google Calendar option. That way people can set up Zoom or Google Meet links for that virtual um, invitation email. In addition to that, any more front-end development features can be added to improve the overall look and hopefully add some more color scheme options to help with even more user accessibility. And that pretty much just about wraps up the project. Thank you so much.
This is the SwIRL Skhedule web app. While designed for internal use at the Southwest Innovation and Research Lab in College Station, Texas, it is currently available for public use. The app is used to schedule two types of events, single events and series events. Here's how to use the app. Visit the homepage, click Sign Up to sign up with an email address and password. The sign-in page has standard checks for ensuring your password is long enough and that you enter it correctly. At the main interface, to create a singular event, click the appropriate button. Enter a name for your event. The location where it will take place, the date, the maximum capacity of guests, and the starting and ending time for the event. Also, enter a time for a reminder email to be sent to guests who haven't responded. You can enter the email addresses of people to invite by uploading a list of email addresses in the form of a .csv or .xlsx file, or enter the email addresses straight into the text box, like so. You can use one or both of these methods. Finally, click Submit to create your event and invite your guests. Whoops, the form has validation methods to ensure that event parameters make sense. Correct the event details and hit Submit again. Now your event is being created. After creating an event, you are redirected to your event dashboard where you can see the events you've created and events you've been invited to. I invited myself to this event, so it's populated in both areas. When clicking on the event name in the Events I've Created area, the email addresses of the people you have invited are listed, as well as the status of their invitations. Invitations are automatically sent out when an event is created. When clicking on the same event in the Events I'm Invited to section, the event is listed without the email addresses or invitation statuses, which is more appropriate for a guest view. Now we check our email and see that the event invitation has been sent to our inbox. Let's click on it and give our response. First, let's check our schedule to make sure we are free. After clicking the link to notify the event organizer that we are planning to attend the event, we are redirected to the guest view of the event details on the Schedule web app. Let's add the event to our Google Calendar by clicking on the appropriate button, then selecting which account's calendar we'd like to use. Whoops, still blank. Let's give it a minute. Now that we have accepted the event invitation, when we go back to the event card as the event creator, we can see the invitee's response has been recorded by the app. We can also add the event to our Google Calendar as the event creator. There it is. Though I can't be sure which of the clicks actually made this happen. A bug we'll have to sort out in the future. The time zone also seems to be incorrect. If we click on the event in our Google Calendar, we can see the email addresses and responses of all those who have been invited. Now let's create a series or speaker event. A speaker event can have multiple time slots and is geared toward lecture series that will happen on a variety of dates in the same location. But first, I think I just got an email. It's an email confirmation that I've accepted the invitation. I'll also receive an email if I decline an invitation. Now let's navigate back to the main page so we can create the series event. Enter a name for the event series and the location where it will take place. This time you can select multiple times and dates. A common scheme is to create events at the same time on different dates. Let's invite one speaker to our series. Click Submit to create this event and send out the invitation. Oh, look, it's our reminder from our previous event that we created. Each invitee will only receive one reminder. And our invitation to our newly created speaker series event has just arrived. Let's click on it and mark our response. The list of available time slots is displayed in the email, but none of these times work for me, so let's let them know that we won't be able to make it. Clicking on either accept or decline will take you to the event details currently, but maybe we don't want to send people there if they have declined the event. Let's go back to our dashboard. Now we can see our 2 events that we created, and our 1 event that we invited ourselves to. We click on the event we just created, and the speaker's response has been properly recorded, and the ratio of yes to no responses has been updated to 0 yes and 1 no. Back in our inbox, we've received an email from Schedule letting us know we declined the invitation, and the organizer won't be expecting us. To end our session, let's go back to the Schedule web app and click the Logout button on the top right of the screen next to our displayed email address. That signs us out of the app and returns us to the login page. It is not required to log in to use the app, and you can click Continue without signing in to browse the app, but events customized for you will not be available. The top right of the screen is blank, indicating you are not logged in and are browsing as a guest. So that's all for this brief overview of the SwIRL Skhedule app, and thanks for watching.